of episodes that promises engaging conversations on skill development and placement process. Today we have with us Mr. Suraj Khanna, an VIT alumni from the batch of 2018. He is currently working as the Associate Google Cloud Consultant at Wipro, who is here to enlighten us with his knowledge and experience gathered both in college and in the industry. Today's session, Flying Through Data and Clouds, will be all about knowledge, experience, and opportunities in the fields of data science and cloud. Without taking any more time, I would now like to request our guests to take the session from here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikunj, for that intro. So, as you said, I have completed my BTech in Computer Science from VIT Chennai in 2018, and then I went ahead and did my MBA from IBS Hyderabad and completed that in 2020 in Marketing and Analytics. So, I'm working in Wipro as a Google Cloud consultant. So, today I'll share with you some facts about cloud industries, how to get into that, what does cloud industry operate on, and how data science comes in the cloud industry, and what you can do to crack data science interviews as well after doing your BTech. Okay, so Nikunj, can I share my screen?
Yes, you have been made the presenter. You can.
Yeah, is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, one second. Okay. So first of all, I wish that everyone is safe at their home and please don't step out. And if you do, just wear two masks if you have to step out. Okay. So today's topic is flying through cloud and data. So everyone knows the importance of data in this era, right? It's very important these days. So mainly the cloud industry right now has three major clouds. Everyone would be aware of it. So if you are not, then it's Microsoft Azure. It's called Azure Cloud. One is Google Cloud. Google Cloud is not that it has just entered like in 2014 and 15, but AWS and Azure are like they are the market leaders and they have entered the cloud industry well before Google Cloud. So these three clouds somewhere or the other work in a similar manner. Okay, and the difference is that in providing support, how these clouds provide support to their clients and the number of products that they have in their services. So AWS has the highest market share right now compared to Azure and GCP. Azure has the second highest, while GCP would be third or fourth somewhere in the list. Yes, there are other clouds as well, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, but these three are the most prominent that are working in industry right now. And these three clouds have major demand in industry for people like you to come up and learn these cloud and get a high paying job. All right. But you have to note that Google Cloud has the highest growth rate right now among these three clouds. I'm not talking about the market share, but the growth rate. The growth at which the Google Cloud is growing is good because you people might be knowing that if you work on data science somewhat, so the TensorFlow is open tool provided by Google Cloud, and obviously they have integrated very well in their own products. So Google Cloud works very well on machine learning use cases, on AI use cases, where Amazon and Azure works good, but Google Cloud is extremely good when you come to data science, Azure, like data science or ML and AI use cases. Okay, so they have many features inside them, many APIs and everything. Yeah. So see, before going into it, I would just like to say that it's not like AWS is better than Azure or Azure is better than Google Cloud. So Google Cloud is called GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or GCP is better than any other cloud. They have their own advantages and their own weaknesses. Okay, so you have to respect them for what strengths and weaknesses they have, and it depends on what business requirements the organization has, and according to that you have to choose a cloud. So what happens in industry is when you get a client that moves into a cloud, that wants to move to a cloud, so it can be like they have pre-decided the cloud, or they ask the vendor to decide what cloud they want, and then there comes a different market research. So you might be knowing many service industry companies like Wipro, Cognizant, TCS, many service providing companies. So if a client comes to them and asks them that we want to move to XYZ cloud, XYZ cloud. So the client has itself given the cloud, so no market research cost is involved, or market research or the organization itself. And if the client asks why, on which cloud should I move, so what does service company do? They analyze all the data, see how much space is there and what are the business requirements, and then they give a solution that you should move to this cloud and why you should move to this cloud. Okay. So how does organization select a particular cloud? So there are many reasons, okay, why, how to select a cloud basically. It depends on the availability zones of the cloud. For example, Google Cloud. And what is availability region? Anyone knows what is availability zones? Anyone wants to point out what are availability zones for cloud? Let's make it interactive. So everyone knows what are data centers, right? You might heard about data centers, right? So these are the actual data centers for the cloud, the availability zone. So if my company has headquarters in Mumbai, so I would obviously pick a data center which is in Asia, right? I wouldn't pick a data center which is there in US location or Europe region because of network bandwidth and everything. So I would obviously go with the region which is near to my working location, right, where most of my data is accessed. I would go, that is availability zones. Now, this might be a crucial factor for selecting a cloud. For example, if I'm not going with Google Cloud and I'm going with AWS because the availability zone where from my company operates, the AWS has that availability zone. So I might incur less cost in choosing that cloud. So one would be availability zone, as we talked. And also what companies do, they look at their competitors on what cloud they are operating. So if I'm a banking institution and one of my competitors have selected Azure already and they are having a good experience, so my cost is safe because they are working in the same industry, they have same requirements. So I would also go with Azure because they are seeing good results. So I wouldn't do a market research to select which cloud. So it depends on many factors. But now the question is, why do you need a cloud service? Why do we need that? Everything is going smooth. Why do I need a cloud service? So first reason would be to reduce cost. Okay. In cloud, all the administrative work that you have, okay, all the administrative works, for example, installing your software, doing some permissions, everything is managed by the cloud service provider. So that headache and that administrative cost is gone. You can tell your cloud service, like the cloud service provider would give you a full documentation that we are going to do this for you, so you did not worry about the administrative work that we are going through. Second would be storage. Okay, so it's not that if for again for example, if I'm an e-commerce company like Amazon, big e-commerce company, so I cannot have like huge data centers inside my office only, and where I have to again keep on installing disks and everything. So this headache is also managed by the cloud service provider. You don't need to buy storage. Okay, so everything is managed by cloud service provider, and this is scalable as well. According to your needs, the storage would go up as well as down, the storage, so that you only pay for what you use. This is the most important thing in cloud, that you only pay for what you use. More compute power, if you need more compute power to manage your resources. Okay, so you can go with cloud because handling compute is very easy with cloud with the drag of a button. You don't need to do all the administrative tasks. Okay, so there are quite a couple of reasons that companies move to cloud. Okay, so what does this cloud offer? Okay, there are three things that this cloud offer. One is IaaS, which is called as infrastructure as service. One is platform as a service, and one is software as a service. So what is this infrastructure as I guess everybody would be knowing, but still. So if you're building an application, for example, Google has Gmail, okay, or Google has YouTube, that is software as a service. It's providing its own software. Everything is done. Okay, but whereas if I'm a company and I'm going to Google Cloud and or any other cloud, and I say that I only require the setup of virtual machines, storage, load balancers, and network, and everything apart from that I will build on the cloud on your virtual machine. So that is called as infrastructure. The cloud will only provide you the infrastructure. It would set up the infrastructure for you on your PCs or any machines that you want, and that what we call as infrastructure. Now other organization comes and tell, no, all databases, all web servers, all development tools, you install, you take care of them, you update it, all the updation of the softwares, all the database that has been there, all their installation errors, everything is handled by the cloud. So you just come, build your application, and just do analytics. Every other thing will be handled by us. So that is, they are providing a platform. And the last one, as we saw, software as a service, is building the whole software, email and everything, or everything is being set up by the cloud provider. So according to your business need, you can select what type of cloud do you want. You want to go either in infrastructure, or just need the platform, or you need the whole application. All right. So this it what it's look like. The red one you see is managed by the cloud service provider. If you go, everyone knows what's on premise, right? On premise means not on cloud, just in your office or any data centers. So you have all these things managed by your resources, your employees, your organization. Everything is managed by you, and you pay for all this, and then you have to pay for those employees. So it's a lot of cost. So if you opt for infrastructure as service, these four services are managed by the cloud service provider, maybe AWS, maybe Azure, maybe GCP, or any other cloud. And these all services are maintained by you. And when you move to platform, all these headache is managed by the cloud service provider. You just bring in your data and run your queries again it and do analysis. That's it. You just have to do that. You have to do nothing else. Bring in your data and do analysis. And software as a service is, it's basically like for their own purpose, for their own cloud purpose, and everything is done by the cloud service provider. I hope everyone is clear with this. Any questions till here? Anyone? It's very basic. Okay. So let's look at an example. If I have Oracle Cloud, or sorry, not Oracle Cloud, Oracle database on premise, and I'm thinking to move this to a Google Cloud, how do I do that? This is a work of a data engineer, that there are many jobs, right? Not data engineer exactly, but yes, data engineer should be aware of the components of the products in the respective cloud. So there is a database on premise that a company has, and it's an Oracle database. Now the point is, how do I move it into Google Cloud? So what we do is, the first step is to always check what type of data exists in that database. What is the schema of the database? Any DDLs, and all other queries. So what we do is, first, for our there is always a staging layer before moving into all the products of the Google Cloud. Google Cloud provides a staging layer where we just lift and shift the data. We pick up the data as it is, and we just put it into the cloud storage. This is cloud storage is just a data lake. Imagine it as a data lake. You can drop any type of data here, any type of data, any extension of data, you can drop it here, just for safety purposes, just to land it up first on cloud. पहले data तो लाओ अंदर. So we have bought the data inside the cloud, and we land it up in cloud storage, the staging area. Then what we do, we prepare the data with the standards that was there in Oracle database here on premise. We do some ETL, we do some processing, and after that we put it into data warehouse like Hive. So BigQuery is a data warehouse where you can store your data and analyze it with using SQL like queries. So you put it into your data warehouse and run your SQL queries there and get your output, and then push your data. You can again push your data into BI tools, like if you want to visualize your data using many visualization softwares. So this is the whole process that is being followed. But this is a very small example. Nowadays we have streaming data, right? Anyone knows what is streaming data? Would anyone like to answer that? Streaming data? Everyone is there in the meeting, right? Okay, am I audible, right? Am I audible, right? Nikunj?
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
You are okay. Okay. So I thought everyone slept. Okay, no. So just make it interactive. So what is streaming data is? band or anything attached to their phone via Bluetooth, or just a small application in their phone which counts their steps and everything. So what happens? These steps that you walk, these steps go to a Samsung database or any other phone that you are using. I use Samsung, that's why I said. So these steps are in real time. What you are doing goes to the database, or it would go at a particular time, like in at night, 12 o'clock. What steps you took the whole day, that data would be sent to a Samsung database because your Wi-Fi is on. Okay, so you have a network connectivity. So that data goes to Samsung. Now there are real-time databases like traffic signal. So if we have a smart traffic signal, okay, so it captures all the cars there, who is rash driving, who is not rash driving in real time. And in real time, at that moment itself, it sends the data to a data warehouse. So that is real streaming data coming in continuously in live data. That is streaming data. So we have a lot of examples of that these days, and this is growing, right? Streaming data examples are growing. So don't be scared of this architecture. I'll explain it to you like how this functions. So just look at left here. Okay, this part. So we have mobile services, we have web data, we have IoT data. From these services, there would be streaming data coming in. Okay. So I want to extract this streaming data to my cloud. How do I do that? So every cloud has a service of getting the streaming data in. Okay, it's a like pub sub application. Pub sub is publishing and subscribing, nothing else. So what do you do in a very basic manner? I'm not going into technical part right now. What do? You make your connections with these, what do you call these services, okay, with the real time ingestion product that Google has, which is called PubSub. Okay, you ingest your data here using this service PubSub, which attracts the real time data. Okay, now what? Should I directly put into data warehouse and build some machine learning models and throw out it and visualize it? No, I have to enrich the data. Okay, I have to clean the data first of all. And how is that done? There is a product in GCP which is called data flow that uses Apache Beam. It's very similar to Apache Beam. If you also go to Google Cloud link, it will give you a link to Apache Beam. So you clean your data there. Okay, not exactly clean, but all the transformations that you want, you do here. And then you put it into BigQuery. BigQuery is again data warehouse, which also stores your data, and you can write SQL queries here. And for your information, now you can do machine learning on SQL in BigQuery. While writing SQL queries, you can perform machine learning to just create model very fast. I know all the machine learning work is either done in Python or R, and most of all in Python. But if you want to really build up a model very fast, you can directly build up in BigQuery using SQL. And then you can push your data into AI platform, which is, if anyone has studied data science, would have worked on Jupyter Notebook. So it has the similar environment here. Okay, and then we can push it to Data Studio to visualize it. Data Studio is Google software again, just like Tableau, okay, Power BI, Excel, to analyze the data, to visually present it using charts and everything. So this is how a whole process takes. Okay, and this is what I actually do to build the architecture for clients on what services we should use. And I cannot directly put any service here. What I have to do is to tell why are we using, what is the cost of this service, okay, and how will it help clients. Because I'm after engineering I did MBA, as I told you, so I'm a consultant right now. So mostly I'm responsible for this part, all this part, to handle it, to tell clients why we should move to GCP, what is the advantage, and how we will cut your costs and everything. All right. So this is how a very small architecture looks like. Okay. So just to give you a comparison, if we run a query like this in Hive, and if we run the same query in Google BigQuery, same SQL query type, we would get this much difference. Time taken to execute the query. Just see here, 300 seconds, and time taken to execute this query. So Google BigQuery, why is there such a difference between, it's similar to Hive. Okay, BigQuery is similar to Hive. It's a data warehouse. So why so much of difference? It gives you results fast. Okay, so just compare it. Okay, So BigQuery doesn't require any physical machine infrastructure and everything to set up. It's already there. You just have to run your query and just push the data to BigQuery. But Hive requires everything: installation, maintaining clusters, everything. And pricing of BigQuery, okay, it's a flexible model. It depends what type of query you are running. And when you run a query there on BigQuery, it shows you how much data it will process. For example, when you just type this query, before running this query, it shows you it will process like 32 bytes of data or 32 kb of data or something, or this much gb of data. So you know how much data are you processing, so you can write more efficient sql queries there. But and that's why you pay as you go. How much data is stored, how much query you run, only that price. But here you require a prior planning, you cannot estimate it. But in BigQuery we have a calculator called GCP calculator where you can estimate. Okay, so in Hive you cannot do that. Growth requirements, you want the cluster to scale up and down, but if you do it in Hive you need an administrator for that. Right now I have to scale up, so he or she will scale up the cluster. But in BigQuery it is automatically handled by Google. You don't have to do anything. You just have write your queries, get your results, that's it. You don't have to worry what is the cluster size, am I getting enough space to run the query, is this system okay for my query to run. No. One more big advantage is the storage in BigQuery. Because as I told you, BigQuery is a data warehouse. You store your data in BigQuery and you also run queries there. So these are two different parts. Okay, it is decoupled. So storage has different nodes. The compute has different nodes. So it's not like you when you run your query and the data is stored on same node. No, it doesn't happen. But in Hive, storage and compute are tightly coupled. So if your computer is gone, your data is gone. It is deleted. But in BigQuery, it's not. It's not like that. Okay. You have some advantages of using cloud BigQuery also here. But the point is, which cloud should you select to enter into cloud industry as a practitioner? Okay. As a fresher or as a experience for 1 to 2 years, which cloud should you learn and enter this industry which is booming like anything? Okay. So if I give any recommendation to you, you should first, if you're a fresher in cloud, you should try to gain some knowledge on AWS cloud practitioner. This is a very basic certification provided by AWS. Any reason you want. So you can go with Azure Fundamentals or Azure Data Fundamentals. These are very basic certifications to get in and just to increase your credibility in cloud industry. Okay, but if you have some knowledge, okay, of cloud and you are very confident that yes, I can crack these interviews of cloud, go ahead with professional certifications. The issue is Google doesn't provide any basic certification like AWS or Azure. It has only professional certifications. So there are professional certifications in AWS and Azure as well, but GCP doesn't have any beginner certification. It's either professional or you're nothing. Okay, so two examples are like GCP professional data engineering certification, GCP machine learning certification. These are all professional certifications, but it requires lot of hands-on practice. And yes, these are all MCQs. Okay, these all certifications are MCQs, but the level of question will differ in professional and basic exams. Few roles that are offered in cloud industry are like cloud architect, cloud data engineer, cloud consultant, and data science on cloud. So see, data science on cloud is not a specific role type, but if you know data science right now, which is like on high boom, so all the projects that you might be getting in, okay, major projects could be like working on cloud and then running some Python, okay, for your projects, doing some analysis through pandas, numpy, building blocks on seaborn, graphs on seaborn, and then building ML on cloud itself. So if you are planning a career in data science, so now it's a requirement or it's a future requirement also from now that you should know basics of cloud. Okay, because major of the projects would be on cloud right now. So it's like how to crack an analytics interview. What we talked about right now is cloud. So, but there are also analytics interview, right? Anyone knows a difference between analysis and analytics? Anyone? What is the basic difference between analysis and analytics? So is anyone into analytics right now or analysis right now? Learning Python, doing some building some machine learning models. Anyone? No? Okay, no issues. So see, the basic difference between analysis and analytics is analysis is most about past analysis. Okay. For example, if I have sales data, sales of a company. So what is the sales of the previous year? What is the sales of the second previous year? Okay. And more on EDA, that is exploratory data analysis. How come my sales of previous year were down? Analyze other variables and all that. But analytics includes projections, future prediction, not only analyzing the past but also predicting for the future using machine learning or just very simple tools in Excel, just for like using regression, using other ML models just to predict it. That is analytics. When you predict something for on your data, that includes analytics. And when you are just doing some exploratory data analysis, past data analysis, that is analysis. So just note, this question was asked to me in interview. This is a very basic question that would be asked to you, that can be asked to you if you are just planning to go into analytics or analysis industry. Okay. So see, the problem that we see right now is the cognitive technologies like all these ML and AI that are increasingly being used to solve business problems. Okay. Many clients come and say, okay, we need ML, we need AI, and this would solve the problem. But they actually don't know how to do that. And when they come to service companies, the company can directly say, no, this doesn't require ML, this doesn't require AI. It's a very naive problem, and we can do it just like that. But they are just revolving around the words right now, AI, ML, and that's why they fail. This is the problem that is being seen right now. So, and if you are implementing a ML or AI project, the approach should be incremental rather than transformational. That means you should not directly transform all of your working of your company towards ML. Take one step at a time. Take one problem, implement it via ML, and see what results are you getting. Many companies fall into a trap of doing a whole transformation. Everyone would know SDLC cycle, right? Take a iterative approach. Okay, go one step by step. Don't just transform it into ML problem and just say, okay, apply ML or AI. That's not how it happens. And to get the most out of AI, okay, firms must understand which technologies they should use. Okay, like all problem statements doesn't require ML, as I say. So you have to note it down, how can we solve it by ML, and what are the future possibilities that can save costs. So what should you know to crack these analytics interview? Okay, so I'm not saying study about these things, but when you solve any data, you have all kinds of data right now. You must have financial data, you must have marketing data, you must have HR data, or supply chain operations data. So try solving at least one or two data sets from these use cases, and I'll also tell you where to get these data sets. Most of you should be aware, but still. So you have many types of use cases. So what happens is, when you solve a finance use case, for example, or a marketing use case, you also get to know about that industry, that domain. Okay, so you might think that, okay, I'm inclined towards this industry, I'm liking what type of data I'm solving, so I'll build my career in this industry. So I start reading about that industry. Then only I can see what type of data it is. See, data science is not about using Python or any other tool. It's about knowing the data, what actually data is. So before you solve any project also, you have to read about that industry. You have to read what variables are important or not. Getting it? So know the field that you are interested in, okay, and see how analytics is implied in that. Okay, don't just study a tool and just code it. No. Okay, you will learn that, coding, you will learn all algorithms, but that's fine. But do you really know the data? Did you select the right columns? Did you select the right variables in it? How will you know that if you don't know the industry? So build a habit of, when you solve a small data set, read about industry, thoda sa. Read about our industry, know the variables. Just don't start solving and building ML models. Okay. So can any of you name any other field where data is now extensively used apart from these? Any field? and it is a very popular field right now where data is like used extensively.
Is it AI?
Yeah, AI is there, but like what type of data are we working on that? What kind of data is that? I'm not talking about data types or structured data or unstructured data. I'm just talking what kind of field it is. Like here we have marketing, finance. There is one more field which is emerging right now a lot. And like experts are reading about that industry more and including data science AI there. Anyone knows about it?
Blockchain technology?
Yeah, blockchain is one, correct. Agreed. Anything else?
I'm not sure, but augmented reality.
Yeah, that's true. And okay, I'll answer that. Both of the answers are right. One is psychology. Okay, so there are psychologists who are learning data science and predicting whether their clients are suicidal or not. You might have been seeing many suicides occurring like in this decade or anything. Okay, so what are psychologists doing? They are taking help of data. They are noting down what their client says. Okay, and what past client they had, taking all that information and somehow predicting it that this client might be suicidal. There are many researches going on. You just set search on Google psychological data science to understand the customer, here the client behavior, and whether he or she might be suicidal or not. So this industry is also going on rapidly. It's new, but it's going on. If you can really predict if the person is suicidal or not, you can save a life, right? So this is going really great. And one more example I would like to give. Everyone has heard of PNG, right? Or any other FMCG company, right? Hindustan Unilever, okay? So they have a lot of products, right? Sabun, tel, sab hota hai, biscuits. So the, like what color of the biscuit should the company produce? The research, there is a separate research department for that. And analytics is included. A market research is done. And they analyze data using different tools and see, okay, we need a brown color for bourbon. Okay, we need a darkish brown color for Oreo. Why do we need a white cream in that, or a strawberry flavor? Why do we need, they just don't go out and launch a strawberry flavor. Okay, they have full research there. They have a full ML model being implemented, how much sales this strawberry flavor Oreo would give me. So you don't worry, there are plenty of jobs out right there in every specific field where analytics is used. And if you're not into analytics right now, I would recommend you just please go ahead and read about it, because this is the most emerging field right now. Okay. So what was my experience into being a engineer and then an MBA? I'll be honest with you. I hated software. I hated coding during my engineering. But when I was doing MBA, I realized that how much data these companies are producing. And I'll honestly tell you, learning Python for data science is very different from implementing a software coding. Okay. Yes. If you are into software coding, that's great. It might be very easy for you to learn data science. Okay. It requires mathematical concepts, statistics concepts. But I was not in favor of software development for my personal reason. I didn't like it. But yes, doing MBA, I realized that yes, it's important to do analysis on any kind of data. So except the fact that you can't master all data. So what I used to do is I learned for 10 days. Okay. Implemented a very small use case. I'll just learn the basics in 10 days. Not don't go to intermediate. Pick up a tool, do it for 10 days for 2 to 3 hours daily. Implement a small use case and research. Like what are the other tools which have the same functionality? Read about it and figure out that did you really like what you did in 10 days? Did this give you good results? If your answer is yes and you really liked it, go into intermediate stage and start learning and implementing big use cases. But if you didn't, you just learn the basics. Okay, you have a small use case, it didn't go to waste, you implemented something, and then select other tool. So by that, during my MBA, I started learning basics of Tableau and SQL, and I picked up Python, my primary tool for doing ML models or anything. Okay, so this also increases your transparency in different tools. You can't say that you're expert in that tool, but you just know, if you really want to be an expert, you can be, because you know the basics of it right now. So you know how that tool functions. Okay, don't give it more than 10 to 15 days just to learn a tool. No, learn the basics and see, do you really like it? What is the market share of this tool? Is it used too much? And do you really want to be in this industry? Go that way. Okay, and what all should you study to crack these interviews? First of all, you should be clear like in what analytics field you want to go. Okay, one is you should know statistics. Very important. In BTech, in every BTech college, statistics is taught. All the t test, z test, everything, mean, median, mode, सब कुछ आना चाहिए. Guest estimate questions, these are very necessary. Take one tool, master it, implement 2 to 3 complex use cases for the tools that you have selected. Know what is the trend of the tool, how is this tool performing, is there any replacement for this tool that is coming up, so I can study that and impress the interviewer. Map business concepts as well, because industry is looking for economical data science these days, who understands business, who understands their organization. Okay, practice the key, I don't need to tell that, and follow dots. Dots is doing one thing surely. Do one thing surely in a day. Do it for an hour, but do it. Just don't procrastinate. Okay, just do that thing, what you have thought. And where to get data for practice? You can easily get on Kaggle.com. It's Google owned right now. Build your profile on Kaggle. Take download data sets. And this is the best tool. Best if you are selecting Python. This is the best website you can go on. Many people solve data sets there. You can check their code. You can see what they have done. Everything. And if you want to like go to visualization industry, you can pick up, if you're picking up Tableau, you have Tableau Public, where you can publish your every other visualization that you are building and make it public to every other team. And I'll provide the slide. There are some important links that you can study for aptitude rounds, for GD rounds. Okay. So that's it from my side, Nikunj.
So, guys, if you have any doubt regarding placements, the industry, so uh, please feel free to ask.
Sir, I wanted to ask one question.
Yeah.
That for learning about this cloud computing and all thing, the AI and ML is necessary or not?
No, 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 not at all. See, cloud is not only about AI or ML.
Okay.
Cloud involves many aspects. Okay, first, for example, going into data engineering side, how would you pick up, like if you have a relational database, as I told you, Oracle. Okay, so there is a difference would be there. How do you write your SQL queries in that database, and how would you write it in cloud? So you should know about SQL. Okay, and how to convert those queries for that specific cloud. So that is very one small aspect that I'm talking. Okay, so you have to select, like if you want to learn cloud, do you want to go data engineering side, where you know about every product of the cloud and how they function, or you if you're going particularly into data science and AI ML, after that you can learn cloud. First learn data science ML and then cloud, if you're interested towards data science.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I hope everyone is not sleeping. Any other question?
Hello.
Yeah.
For a beginner like me, I have no idea about how to start and from where to start. But from the presentation and all, it was very evident that this industry is really growing. And if I want to just try out something and try to learn this, what should be the first step to start? Like, from where should we start? Like, from learning databases from SQL, or just learning, start to learn Python or machine learning?
Okay. So see, if you want to really learn about cloud, okay. So there is a website called as A Cloud Guru. I'll spell it ACLOUD Guru, GURU. So go to that website, try out the 7-day free trial, and learn any about any cloud. Just type AWS or Google and Azure, and there you will see a proficiency level. Click on any course which has beginner proficiency level, read about it, or see those videos, learn about that cloud, and see, are you interested first of all in cloud. Okay, second thing, yes, if you really see data and analytics growing, please learn Python. Please learn Python. It's a necessity if you are coming into analytics industry. I'll be very honest. You should know Python, and you should know basic to intermediate SQL, not advanced, because if you are going into data science, okay, it's not data administrator or database development, it's data science. So basic SQL queries to intermediate SQL queries just for extracting data, nothing else. But Python, it should be advanced level. And not I'm not talking about software development Python. Yes, object oriented and some data structures in Python like lists, tuples, and dictionaries, you should be aware. And when it comes to data science, the most important part in data science is feature engineering. It's called data. It's about data cleaning. How do you handle data? So yes, go ahead with learning Python, learn intermediate SQL, and the website I told you, A Cloud Guru, just go to it and do a very basic course on cloud. You will get a hang of it. All right, Aditya?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, Nikunj, I guess it's done. They are fine with it.
Yes. So thank you so much for taking out your time and the efforts that might have gone in making that PPT. That presentation was really amazing and informative.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'll share the slides, Pranav. I'll share it with Nikunj. I guess he'll pass on to you. Right,
Yes.
Nikunj? Yeah.
Your LinkedIn ID also.
Thank you, everyone,
Yeah,
all of
sure.
you guys, for joining in. So we'll meet in the next episodes.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you. It's my honor. Thank you, Nikunj. Thank you, Skillship. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Pranav.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah.
निकुंज तू ग्रुप पे शेयर करेगा या कहाँ शेयर करेगा पीपीटी?
हाँ, ये मुझे भेज देंगे, मैं